have another portfolio that's designed for generational wealth. Because this is what you need in order to be financially secure for the most part. You need two things. You need wealth and income. That's it. That's literally what that's so when I named my mastermind, I was like, oh yeah, let's call it the wealth and income network. If we achieve those two goals, then we're good. If you have enough income, that gives you cash flow to pay bills. And then if you have wealth, that gives you financial security, assets that you can liquidate in order in case you have a financial shock or financial emergency. And actually in business, when you start your business, those are two aspects that matter, right? More businesses die due to a lack of cash flow than there are that die due to a lack of profitability. So never think that one is more important than the other. All right, so let's see here. Watson says, Doc, I could have sworn I heard you say that you were going live on Prime yesterday. I didn't get the link. I logged in on Prime. I see the link is for the 20th. Yeah, we're gonna meet on the 20th. But what I did do, I think what you might have heard me say is that I wanted to answer all your questions. So send me your questions, and you guys did. You guys sent me a lot of questions. I spent all day, not all day, a bunch of time yesterday answering a lot of your questions. And I went and I'm gonna text that link out to you today. So if you want to get it via text, make sure you're on the text list. Text the word options to the number 87948. So text options to 87948. We're getting profit alerts in Prime now, or is this with Win? I try to just get profit alerts whenever I can, just based on whatever type of investing you're doing. So if I see opportunities, I like to share that. And so, like stuff like Oklo, because I listen to a lot of financial stuff and analysis, and all I do that's in case you want to know like a good way to grow financially. I don't look at investing in wealth as like a vacuum. Like I don't look at wealth as like isolated from every other part of my life, because I started thinking deeply about what does wealth really mean, and it can't just be money. That's very depressing to think that wealth is just money, new cars, like big houses and material possessions, or Hermes bag. Um, no, I think wealth is really anything that you have in your life that's valuable. And how do I know that? Well, because told you, if I said, how much money can I pay you to get you to cut off your left leg, you would say absolutely. There is no amount of money. I don't want to lose my left leg. I'm not selling my leg for $10 million, right? Or if I said how much wealth, I did that with an 18-year-old I was talking to, and I said, you're already a millionaire. And she said, I am? I said, yeah, you are. I said, you just don't have any money. I said, so let's do a test. I said, what if I gave you $3 million, and all you have to do is you have to get in a machine, and when you come out of the machine, you'll be 54 and I'll be 18 again. I get to be young. You got to be 54, so you're gonna lose 35 years of your life, but you're gonna have $3 million. Would you take that trade? And she said no. I said, there we go. You prove my point. I said, that means you have one thing in your life that's worth millions of dollars. It's not, you wouldn't, in fact, there's probably no number I could give you that would make you sell your youth. So that means you're infinitely wealthy, and so ultimately, uh, the thing about it is about wealth to me is the first thing you got to admit to yourself is how wealthy you are, how blessed you are. And I'm not saying this to make you feel good. I'm saying it because you got to start there to, and understand you deserve that wealth, and that's yours. But then your next problem is like, okay, how do I convert this into money? Right?